right? Well, if you're looking for information on preparedness, here we are, right? I'm the CEO and founder of Preparedness Labs Incorporated, a Canadian research and education firm into the field of preparedness. We also host and own Inside My Canoe Head, Canada's #2 preparedness podcast, #3 globally. We talk about everything about risk, resilience, and preparedness. We have over 320 episodes, almost 5 years on the air, well on our way to 30,000 downloads in 68 nations. As well, we have a Substack under my name, Jeff Donaldson. We are now expanding into the video medium. Here we are, good, bad, or indifferent, warts and all. We're going to provide you this rational information. What we subscribe to is non-apocalyptic, evidence-based preparedness education for rational people. We're not your apocalypse, sky's falling, society's about to collapse, top 10 things to buy for a prepper, and all that other crap. If that's the kind of stuff you're into, grab your popcorn and your wobbly pop and head over there to the other YouTube channels. There's lots of people talking about all that BS. If you actually want to know how to navigate you and your family through the risks that are presented in the 2020s, hey, this is what we're here for. I'm Dr. D. Stick with us. We're not going anywhere. Watching people become unhinged in this week after some event on January 20th, I don't know what it was, is kind of amusing, if not sad. People who have decided to become totally detached from reality are becoming triggered and offended and flipping over themselves to try to express and advise the entire world as to how to bend out of shape they've decided to become over a result that is beyond their control. When we talk about risk, resilience, and preparedness in the modern, technologically enabled, connected world, we have to understand that, as the Stoic philosophers so clearly said, there is very little that is within our control, and that is perfect. Which means all I control is what I say and what I do. I can't control the actions of others. All I can choose to do is decide how I'm going to react to what happens around me. We saw a recent election in the United States of America. Yeah, it's impactful for the whole world. I live in Canada. We're the neighbors to the north, the frozen chosen, whatever you want to refer to us as. But it's impactful for us, but I don't control it. So I'm not going to keyboard warrior whether this is a great or a bad decision, irrespective of what side of the spectrum you're on. If I want to remain sane and within control of my faculties, what I'm going to do is identify this as a risk. Just like any political figure exists, we have 5 planes of influence that are out there. We have political, we have economic, we have natural, we have cultural and ideological, and familial. And throughout that landscape, each one of those, our risks exist. So we have a political risk by a new leader in a foreign country. Or if you're American, you've elected a new president. You had 46 before, and you'll have 46 or more after. The world is not coming to an end. However, what your responsibility, I'm going to argue, is fight through the noise. What is the difference between what an individual says and what they'll actually do? Not what you think you do, not what you're afraid they'll do, not what your ideological driven agenda says they will do. And that's on both the positive or negative side, depending on your view of the politician. But what is actually likely to occur through the checks and balances of the system in which you exist? What is the likely outcome? That is identifying your risk. That is step 1. Across those 5 spheres of influence, areas of expectation, call it whatever you will. Scholars are all over the map on that. But if you take those 5 areas and you identify what events might occur in each one of those spheres that could influence you and how you and your family choose to live your life, now you've figured out how to identify risk, right? Risk is number 1. Number 2 is resilience. That's your ability to navigate risk, to navigate harm, because we don't live in a utopian world where harm has been reduced to zero. That doesn't exist, right? Your family and you will be exposed to harm and injury. There's nothing you can do to get that to zero. Your responsibility is to understand and identify that risk and then become more resilient. You just can't choose to be resilient, though. You just don't magically press a button and flick a lever or grab something or grab a device and, oh, look, I'm going to look this up and become more resilient. Resilient is an outcome. You become more resilient by adopting preparedness. And all that preparedness is a set of decisions you take. Hey, listen, I've identified this risk, this event that might occur in the future that is going to impact me or my family in this very specific way. And therefore, now I need to have a strategy to navigate that. What does that strategy look like? What are the steps that I need to do to make that happen? And that's in the grand scheme all preparedness is all you're doing is taking that identified risk and you're saying, okay, it may impact my family in this way. Here are the steps I'm going to take to mitigate against it, because I can't reduce it. I can't prevent it. That's an absolute. We don't do prevention. All that we can do is mitigate risk, right? And by mitigating risk, we increase our resilience and the probability that an event, when it does occur, the harm that it does to us and our family will be reduced. That's the theory of preparedness. It's really that simple. It's no more complicated. And guess what? Preparedness is absolutely and unequivocally free.